Josh Utter-Layton, you're now one match away from making the playoffs.
Quite the swing. Went from like bottom of the pack to potentially in the playoffs just in 1 week. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's a lot of points on the line if you win. And if you win, you could be 5 points. You'll be 5 points ahead of Paul Cheon. You might even be beating Brad Nelson to get there, and you would be 5 points ahead of him. But hey, 5 points is enough.
Well, 5 points ahead of Paul Cheon is all I set out to do from the very beginning. So
Hilarious. Well, one more match to do it. Talk to me about Esper Dragons. Is this the best deck in Standard in your mind?
um, I don't know. I think it's like basically probably behind Abzan. I think Abzan is yeah, Abzan has like clearly shown that it has been on top for like the longest amount of time. And there's a lot of different ways to build Abzan, whereas like you're kind of stuck into basically the same set of cards if you're playing Esper. So just like the added flexibility, I think it makes Abzan a little bit better. But when Esper like isn't poorly positioned, and those set of cards are what you will be playing, it's good. So
Okay, so maybe no one definitive best deck in Standard, but you're going to Providence this weekend, right?
yeah, that's why I'm playing Esper this week, and I actually wanted to test for it. This is a great opportunity to do that. So definitely looking to play Esper there, most likely. So
Okay. What kind of field are you expecting at the Grand Prix?
who knows? Lots of everything. No deck's gonna be super popular. It could be a lot like how Modern was, where everything is less than 10% of the field.
Okay, but then you said when the Esper cards are the good cards, it's a great deck. That the wide open field of this Grand Prix lends itself to Esper, you think, rather than Amazon?
Yeah, basically, when the Esper was not a great choice, I think, when everybody was playing for Den Protector, for Thoughtseize, for Deafness Raptor in every single deck. That was probably just not the best place to be. But the format's kind of like stabilized and spread out so that you have to just be prepared for a really wide open field, and you don't get to bring the same level of preparation to beat Esper. So I think it's not head and shoulders above anything else. I think it's just another top deck, and this is the deck that I've played the most and had the most experience with. So it's the one I'm most inclined to play.
Okay, that makes sense. But now let's talk about the brews. You have brought quite the collection of brews over the course of the Standard Super League. Which one was the most fun of all the decks you've kind of trotted out?
I think Conifer Strider was the most fun.
So walk us through that deck. Remind people what that deck
Yeah,
was.
well, so that deck was a Temur Battle Rage plus Become Immense combo deck, and it had a bunch of Self Mill and Den Protector to set up the combo, and of course Deathmas Raptor to go along with all of that goodness. And Conifer Strider was just the best creature to be comboing with, obviously, since it has Hexproof.
So Become Immense, Temur Battle Rage, just 20 people out of nowhere.
Yeah, got to do it once, so I was happy about that.
Hey, it's the perfect Johnny deck, right? You pull off once, you're happy. Your opponent got to win the match, so they're happy.
Yeah. I'm actually really disappointed that there weren't more weeks of Standard Super League because I have so many more brews I still want to try playing.
Nice. Fair enough. I'm sure you can find some places to show them off. Yeah, we will be back later on in the fall. There'll be more sets, though. You'll have to start brewing with Origins cards, probably.
I can deal with that.
You can deal with that? It seemed like you could probably brew.
Well, also, if I make the playoffs, then I get a chance to play new decks, right?
Oh, right. If you make the playoffs, it's actually unified Standard.
So there we go. That's some serious motivation to win my next match.
Win the next match, you get to bring 3 brews next week to the semifinals. Yeah, for those of you who want to know, that everybody brings deck A, deck B, deck C. It's best 3 out of 5 matches is the way it plays out. So the A decks play, the B decks play, the C decks play, and then the 4th and 5th match, the 2 players can choose whichever of their 3 decks they want. The big constraint, all 3 decks would have to be legal and standard, even if you stack them on top of each other. So you only get 4 copies of every card.
Yeah, that format seems awesome. Definitely would like a chance to play it. So
yeah, we know that Tom Ross will be playing next week in that unified standard format. Big question, though, who's he going to be playing? Is it going to be you, or is it going to be Brad Nelson, or is it going to be Paul Cheon? 3 guys for 1 spot at this point. I think we are just about ready. Yeah, okay, we're just about ready for the match between Brad Nelson and Andrew Cuneo. So thanks for chatting with us, Josh. Good luck to you in the finals. I don't know if you have a rooting interest here. Are you better off against the Constellation deck or the Devotion deck?
Well, I'd rather that Paul Cheon makes it if I fail to. So
Ah,
I'm going to be rooting against Brad here.
got it. You want Cuneo through so that even if you can't do it, at least your teammate can.
That's right.
That's a good man. I like that answer. All right. Well, we'll see what happens. Thanks for chatting with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Awesome. We can look at the bracket, I guess, while we get Josh off the line and bring Luis back. This is where we started the day. This is where we are now. Josh is through to the finals. We just need an opponent for him. And if we look at the standings, you can really see what's been happening is the guys toward the bottom of the standings are the ones who've been winning. Josh Utter Layton on 45, but now he's up to 65, and he goes to 80 if he wins in the next round. That 10-point bonus for winning it will be just enough to pip Paul Cheon. Brad Nelson, though, currently on 65. Win gets him to 75, and win in the finals would be good enough. Welcome back, Luis. Welcome back.
Yo.
Here we are at the standings. Josh through to the finals. Josh has said he's rooting for Cuneo. That way, at least if he fails to make the playoffs, at least it'll be Paul. That's a good team.
That's fair enough.
But yeah, team Brad Nelson, Brad's fans definitely need him to beat Andrew Cuneo here. And Cuneo's just looking forward to play. Cuneo just wants to, I think, put some distance between him and the bottom. Maybe show off this Constellation brew, see what it can do. We can put the latest version of Andrew's deck list up. I don't think we've actually looked at it yet on camera. He's run this deck a couple of times. It started out as just a crazy collection. I called it green-black shenanigans the first time he showed up with it. I couldn't even figure out, is this a devotion list? Is this a constellation list? I just declared it to be shenanigans. But he's tightened it up. It's now pretty clearly a constellation deck. 3 Eidolons, Night Howlers, Brain Maggots, Coursers, Doomwakes. Got a lot of the nice synergy going on there. But then the other thing that's going on is the Wayfinder spilling stuff into the graveyard, the Night Howlers getting potentially gigantic. Don't sleep on those 2 copies of Strength from the Fallen, which can give a creature plus a whole bunch of power whenever you play an enchantment. So in particular, Den Protector becomes really hard to block, and we've seen him just 20 people out of nowhere with an unblockable Den Protector.
Yeah, that's I think one of the main paths to victory, actually. It's got a couple different ones: Night Howler Den Protector, Strength of Fallen Den Protector, and also just, Eidolon into drawing a bunch of cards.
All right, here we go. Looks like Brad took a mulligan. That's a 6-card hand. But he is on the play. He's got some acceleration. He just doesn't have much in the way of business. Boy,
Yeah,
can he make a lot of mana, though.
It's kind of unfortunate for Brad. He doesn't have white mana available, so Andrew's turn 2 Brain Maggot is going to take Mastery, which is Brad's kind of last good card in hand.
Yeah, there is the Brain Maggot.
I'd imagine that Mastery is a Windmill Slam here.
I mean, I guess this is Brad thinking while it's on the stack. But I don't know a lot he can do about this. He can just lament the fact that his draw is now 3 lands and 3 elves. I guess technically the Voyaging Satyr is a druid. My apologies.
Is it a warrior, though?
It is not a berserker nor a warrior. It's not even a human.
Oh, Cuneo took the Voyaging Satyr. Wow.
Wow, he took Voyaging Satyr there?
I mean, that is a higher payoff play if it works, but if it doesn't work, if Brad draws a white land and just plays it.
Crazy.
Huh.
All right, well, both players have dueling coursers, so everybody's going to have lots of information here. Nykthos doesn't make white mana.
I guess if you draw 1 white mana, Mastery still doesn't do a ton. But there's the Windswept Heath, so yeah, we're gonna see what happens here. I don't think I like that play that much. Just in terms of like the risk reward, doesn't seem like it's quite there.
Right. I mean, Brad would have had a whole bunch, even more mana with the Voyaging Satyr. Like Nykthos shenanigans are online, but nothing to sink it into. And you basically, I guess, this way you're saying Brad doesn't get as much mana. I don't know. Yeah, I'm with you. I would have taken Mastery.
Brad does not have access to a lot of white mana, but he does have 2 with the Voyaging Satyr there, so he's going to be able to play Mastery and then start using it. Brad is going to get to start Doomwake Gianting soon here, though.
All right. Brad doesn't mind shuffling away Pelucranos, really wants the white mana for the Mastery. Plays the Mastery, and how much mana does he have now?
Well, Nykthos taps for net
6.
4.
Is net 3?
Well, yeah, sorry. 2 tap, add 6, so it's a net 3.
Voyaging Satyr can untap the plains, so he can start activating Mastery. Meanwhile, what is Andrew up to now? Doomwake Giant is online? That seems like a thing.
Yeah, Doomwake's definitely a card. Though it only kills the elf here, I could see wanting to wait and let's see, I guess Cuneo could have played like land, the next turn land Doomwake Brain Maggot in the same turn in order to get a double trigger here. I wonder if he's going to lead the Murderous Cut on top. Because Murderous Cut, man, it's a very reasonable card here, but Andrew really wants to just find more enchantments here.
Brad gets 1 manifest out of the Mastery. It was a Death Mist, right? And then there's a new Death Mist on top?
That's what it looks like. So Brad's doing some things. He's not quite to the point where he can activate Mastery multiple times a turn, but he's getting relatively close. If he had both Raptors, and now it looks like he might actually just manifest on upkeep. Part of the reason that Mastery is so powerful here.
Controls his draw phase. No, he elects to draw the Raptor. Manifesting Genesis Hydra, not nearly as exciting.
No. You can flip it up if you want, though.
Maybe you need the life. Yeah, the decision to not manifest didn't really work out, but I mean he's kind of got the whole engine in place. So what is this? 5 mana. You can play Death Mist. You can untap Nykthos and manifest Genesis Hydra. Is that good? I guess that's good.
Yeah, manifesting is all right. It's the fact that Brad does wish he had an extra white, but
yeah, he uses his mana to flip the Death Mist, so he can attack with the Death Mist as a 4/4 death.
Yeah, I think you just want to draw a Genesis Hydra here.
Yeah, that makes sense. Andrew's now got a Den Protector on top of his library.
Which means you don't want to play the Wayfinder here.
Agreed.
This Mastery, not taking the Mastery unseen is somewhat something I think Paul was probably not too happy about. In both cases, Paul's watching the person he doesn't want to win and is just like, yeah.
Yeah, Paul Cheon needs Andrew Cuneo to win this. Paul Cheon is Cuneo's #1 fanboy right now. If Brad wins, Paul is getting passed by somebody. Doesn't know whether it's Brad or Josh that's going to pass him, but he knows somebody will.
So now Brad can play a Genesis Hydra for, let's see, tons. I mean, Nykthos taps for right now 9, and then you untap Nykthos, and you tap it for another 9. So you end up with 16, 17. So it looks like a Genesis Hydra for 15 if that's what he wants to do.
And, oh, by the way, those Death Mists are going to add up.
Yeah.
He doesn't really have a good answer to those either.
Playing Devotion online is so much easier. You just tap your Nykthos, then untap it, then tap it. You don't have to like count or anything. Like you have to count before you do all of it, but the actual mechanics are very easy. So it looks like Brad's going to play it for a little less in order to manifest, which I think makes sense. Like you don't need a Genesis Hydra for 1,000,000 here.
Oh, he wound up with Whisperwood on top of his library randomly. What do you get here?
Could also peel Dragon Lord here.
What are you putting into play with your Genesis Hydra?
Oh,
Good or Jamocha?
Those are really the only two things I can think of. that are really relevant. I actually kind of like the Dragon Lord, but I don't know. I think it's pretty close. Like you do play around sweepers by getting Whisperwood, but Andrew does not have very many actual sweepers.
Yeah, and they know the deck lists. So Andrew has actual no sweepers. He has Doomwake Giant is the closest thing.
Yeah. Doomwake Giant's got to do a little work in order to get rid of the Genesis.
11-11.
Though Farika, which is on top of Andrew's library right now, is actually pretty good. It does let you trigger Doomwake a lot of times. And Andrew can draw it with Den Protector too, so
Sure.
Andrew's not dead yet, but next turn he can play Farika and activate it twice, maybe 3 times. He needs to have a third card. So he can -4, -4. Yeah, so you can activate it twice or 3 times and then or you can activate it twice because there's 2 creatures in his graveyard. And then so he can -4, -4 Brad's team. Well, that was one of the cards you wanted, so it's not the end of the world here for Andrew. It's just not looking great. But Brad drawing Whisperwood also helps.
Brad's even got a backup Dromco on top of his library. Yeah, just send him in. I mean, does Andrew even have all of his blocks are awkward? What? He chump blocks?
He just has to chump block twice and then take some damage. He could even chump block more, but Andrew wants creatures in the graveyard. This gives him more triggers for Farika here.
Right. Yeah, I was thinking he only had to chump block once, but having 2 creatures die is actively good.
So end of turn, flip Den Protector, get back Farika. Brad doesn't want to play too many things main phase. He gets to play them more post-combat, supposedly, or post-Farika, rather. You could also play Whisperwood, so then when Brad starts minusing your team, or when Andrew starts minusing your team, you get manifest tokens, but depending on, like, the ones from the smaller toughness creatures still end up dying because more minuses come stack on top. But it does mean that when your 4 toughness creatures die, you do get manifests instead.
Well, he commits the Whisperwood to the board and manifests that Dromaka to the board.
Manifest.
Brad's library is covering up his floating mana. Maybe we can slide that a little bit.
Oh, I see. At this point, you might as well just manifest all your things. I guess you're going to manifest end of turn for Raptor anyway. I don't think Andrew gets out of this, though. You know, Doomwake's going to do some work.
Mm-hmm. But Doomwake can only kill the 4 toughness creatures.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
I'm not sure it makes sense for Brad to commit to all these manifests on his main phase, though, does it?
No, I don't love doing that.
Did you not see the Farika thing coming?
That could be.
I mean, if he's thinking my opponent has no sweepers, then maybe he's just not thinking about how much damage Farika can actually do here.
Jamoka's still going to be a huge problem, though.
Agreed. So is Genesis Hydra. Well, I guess you get to block Genesis Hydra with a little death-touching dork.
Also, Brad has a Pelucranos on top of his deck.
Oh, by the way.
Though if Brad sacks Whisperer, the Pelucranos might get manifested. And then might potentially die to... It looks like Brad's not on the sacrificing Whisperwood plan.
Is Andrew... How much... Oh, yeah. So there's Brain Maggot with 1 Doomwake trigger. Here's Farika with a 2nd Doomwake trigger. He can play a land from hand, which gives him 2 Farika activations, right? It's 2 mana?
Mm-hmm.
That does kill all the 4 toughness creatures. All the manifests are already dead.
Yeah.
I mean, surely you want to kill.
Yeah, I think you got to move into this plan. I don't think you have a better option. You end up with some 1/1, death touches in play, which also help block things like Genocider, but I still think the Dragon Lord is eventually going to be your undoing. Andrew,
Or eventually is like 2 turns from now.
right? Andrew goes up to 10, gets hit down to 5. Next turn plays Courser, plays a land, and goes up to
It's 3
8.
turns from now.
And
Yeah,
then
here's the second
goes down
freak
to
is coming out.
3.
So
Yeah.
I guess Brad now should sack Whisperwood so that the 2 coursers and the Raptor turn into 3 manifests.
Yes. Now would be the time. The question is, do you want Pelucranos to manifest? But Brad's going to be down a ton of mana because at this point he's going to have only 5 green symbols in play instead of the previous million. Oh, Cuneo exiled Brad's Deathmist Raptor instead of his own card, so he didn't give the last -4, -1/-1.
Huh. Okay.
I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know if that's.
He gets rid of a Raptor, but he leaves Courser Raptor in play.
I assume that was just like a miscalculation there because there's no the Raptors aren't coming back anytime soon. You'd much rather kill Courser, Raptor, Whisperwood. I mean that's much better, I would assume.
He was thinking he was going to get the token and the last trigger, or at least the trigger.
That's my assumption.
Crazy game. Quite a few complicated interactions.
And so now Cuneo gets to play like Pelucranos with a ton of mana if he wants to.
Brad.
Or yeah, Brad gets to play Pelucranos with a ton of mana if he wants to, and then can't quite fight everything because there's too much toughness over there, but
Yeah, I mean, Cuneo's been fighting a good fight, but at the end of the day, Brad is the one with the big flyer in play. It seems like it cuts through a lot of what's going on here.
Yeah, and I don't know if Andrew could have done anything to stop the Dragon Lords, or the Dragon Lord rather.
He has to draw like how many murderous cuts does he have? 2?
Yeah, he does not have a lot of actual direct ways to kill. Let's take a look here to kill what the 5/7 flyer. There's just basically 2 murderous cuts. A Whip of Erebos would do it too, though, or at least would put him in pretty good shape.
Mm-hmm.
Still, at the end of the day, the flyer is what's attacking, and that's what's being more problematic. Maybe Andrew has the option of playing a bunch of enchantments again this turn. Commune's actually kind of exciting out. So now you play Courser. You get to gain 3 when you play your land. You get to start with Doomwake. You still can Doomwake 3 more times this turn because there's still 3 creatures in the graveyard.
Yep. So leaving all those 4 toughness creatures alive didn't actually cost him anything. Because he's going to kill him now?
He is, though, Brad's going to get a bunch of manifests back.
Hey, only 1 more than he would have gotten last turn.
Well, no, because Brad has 2 Whisperwoods now and has 3 other 4 toughness creatures that don't die until then.
Oh, it is.
So in response to the 4th
it's 6.
trigger.
3. It's like 3 more.
Yeah. Well, we should get 7 because the second Whisperwood triggers off the first Whisperwood.
Oh, does it really? That makes sense.
But, I think if Andrew can hit Whip off Commune, he might actually be in an interesting spot. He might actually be able to win. Because Brad doesn't have a ton of ways to get through a bunch of 1/1 death touches.
Andrew has to answer Dragon Lord Dromoka. That is the game at this point. He's got, what, 2 turns to do it? Because he's up to, what, 3 coursers now? So he's gaining 3 life per land?
Yeah. So he's got 2 if he can hit lands.
Yeah, Andrew's got...
And this does impact Brad's mana situation significantly.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, Nykthos is no longer doing a whole lot. Pelucranos is not doing a whole lot. Andrew has either 1 or 2 turns, depending on whether he can come up with a land.
Yeah, Andrew could kind of easily win this game. Especially if Commune's presumably going to dump some creatures into Andrew's graveyard. He can start using the Farika again. Actually, Andrew can also use Farika main phase or not main phase, rather, on Brad's turn.
Mm-hmm.
So Andrew could use it to make it so Dromoka does a little bit less damage, stabilize, buy himself more turns.
So Brad just flipped over one of his manifests, which was a Voyaging Satyr, and that brought back 2 Deathmist Raptors, which essentially turns Nykthos back into a thing.
Yeah, it's a dark ritual.
I mean, not only do the Raptors power up the Nykthos, but the Voyaging Satyr doesn't have summoning sickness, so Nykthos can untap as well.
Can Brad win here? Let's see. Nykthos can tap for...
Oh, he has the Polukranos.
For 8, you untap Nykthos, you go down to 6, you go back to 14, 15. Oh, no, the second one gives you 2 more, so 17, because you play Polukranos in between. Also, if you flip Caryatid, that's +1, I guess. 16.
You think he could gun down enough blockers with his Polukranos to clear a path?
The Raptors can't attack, unfortunately, so...
True, but all the manifests can.
Yeah, Brad might actually be able to win this turn. So Cuneo has 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 6, 9, 12 blockers, and he needs to block 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 creatures. So if Brad can kill 8, I don't think Brad can kill 8 though.
What's the monsters for?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Oh, by the way, Brad's at 84, but that doesn't actually matter. 7 is the monster.
So Brad, I don't think Brad can kill 8, but I think Brad can kill enough to make it so Farika doesn't block. No, so Brad isn't going to get to win this turn. He just gets to make
giant Polukranos.
He just wanted to kill a bunch of coursers to make it so Andrew stopped gaining life.
Okay, well, he only killed one of the coursers.
All right, so Andrew needs to hit here.
Yes.
Land on top would be good. Creatures to exile, which he knows he's going to potentially hit 1 at least. And something like a whip would be optimal here.
Okay, Night Howler, Executioner, Eidolon, Den Protector, Den Protector.
Brad wasn't at 89. So you can take one of the cards, and you don't know your top card yet. You don't know if it's going to be a land or not, because Den Protector seems like the safest.
It's a Caryatid. So no life gain, which means he has to... I mean, Dromoka kills him unless he activates Farika on Brad's turn to shrink it with Doomwake Giant.
Yeah, he needs to use it 3 times.
Which he can do, right? He just spilled 3 creatures.
Which means he can't play the Den Protector as well, though.
Because he needs 6 mana?
And then he's drawing... Oh, this is not working out actually that well, because then he's drawing Sylvan Caryatid. I guess if he draws or has a land under the Caryatid, then he's got a shot.
This game's crazy. Pretty cool.
Yeah. It's possible Brad wanted to actually kill the Polukranos, or the Doomwake with the Polukranos, because had he done that, then this out no longer exists.
Sure. This is the nuttiest game.
I mean, Andrew
How
does...
many creatures are in Andrew's graveyard?
Oh...
I mean, does the 4th activation do anything? No, he needs 5 activations, which he doesn't have.
Looks like 5 creatures.
But he doesn't have the mana for it to actually kill Dromoka. Or Dromoka's what, 5/7? He's not getting 7. Yeah, he just has to shrink it. And then what? Play land, gain life. All this for want of a murderous cut.
Which he did square to the bottom at one point. Not saying he should have kept it because he was looking for other things at the time, but it is funny.
Agreed. Farika and Doomwake Giant. You know, I've explained this combo, I feel like every time I watched one of these Constellation decks for the last year or so. It's never come up this well. This is the best I've ever seen Farika and Doomwake actually combo. How many they've gunned down, like, look at Brad's graveyard, plus they've killed a dozen manifests. Just quite the machine gun. Manifest getting flipped over now? Is that what's going on?
I would assume so. Brad had to have hit something here.
You think? Untapping Nykthos too?
Whoa.
He doesn't want to play more manifest to gain more life, does he? Life's not what this is about.
Well, he could. I mean, he might
He
want
wants
to
make the mana before stuff starts dying. Is what he wants.
Yeah, at the very least, activate Mastery twice, and potentially more than that.
Yeah, I mean the Satyr's about to die, so.
Doomwake's gonna devour the rest of the manifests.
He just flipped something, right? Oh, he flipped Death Mist? The one on the
Yeah,
right? To gain some life. Now all the manifests, before all the manifests died. More Farika. This should kill the 2 Death Mists and the Caryatid. So Brad's going to make some mana before they all die.
Yeah, including white mana. The Death Mists are gonna die. He's gonna manifest. He's gonna maybe manifest again, depending on what he hits, and then flip something to get all the Raptors back again.
Now, does Andrew want to do a 4th activation in order to kill the Death Mist? Probably not.
It doesn't seem great, especially since you might want to bring something back with.
Oh, yeah. He's left himself GG. Well, there's an Orberg. Flipping Den. Oh, what do you mean bring something back? His Den Protector's still in his hand.
Yeah, at some point, well, I mean, like, have it in your graveyard to flip back, though. He's probably going to have to get the commune at this point. Just, I don't know if he needs ammunition.
Yeah. Oh, this is all very crazy.
And if Brad wasn't at 100 life, literally 100 life, then Andrew could be, like, you know, kind of smash with things, but it's just not even.
Man, he could have taken that mastery with Brain Maggot way back on turn 2.
The
This
Brain
is
Maggot
still
that's
that
still
game.
in play, yeah.
No, he actually chumped with that Brain Maggot and gave Brad.
Oh, that's a different one.
But it could have been still in play. Yeah, he could have taken that mastery way back on turn 2. Wanted to play this game on hard mode, I guess.
Sort of appears so.
108 life for Brad Nelson. And oh, okay, Dromica drops Andrew from 3 to 1. Now, can Andrew stay alive another turn? There's an Elvish Mystic. No life gain from the 3 coursers. He does have a Den Protector.
Den Protector, get back commune.
Den Protector, flip it, get back commune. Presumably.
Commune into whip with an untapped land on top. Game. Also not close to game, but at least something.
Here's the commune. Mystic, Courser, some land. Not good enough.
Nope.
Brad Nelson wins game 1. Craziness. That was fun. That was just, wow. Definitely Cuneo playing that game on hard mode. But Brad, I don't know. He piloted it pretty reasonably well in a tough spot and a big match for him if he wants to make this playoff.
Yeah, Brad knows how to play that deck. I mean, he conceded when he could have made if he had with a win top 8, you know, at Grand Prix Miami, and to his brother nonetheless.
That's right.
That deck was what the finals of that Grand Prix. So yeah, Brad's played that deck a lot, and he knows how to pilot it. Andrew, you know, I think not taking the mastery ended up not working out. Though it's possible there's one point where we saw Pelucranos and it ended up getting shuffled away. That if Andrew didn't have mastery, a Pelucranos plus a Nykthos could have done a bunch of damage. Maybe I don't know.
It's true.
It seems like the mastery was still the more dangerous card there, but it's hard to know what would have happened exactly. Though I think the mastery was a little bit better.
I mean, it's definitely the more dangerous card. I mean, if he
Yes.
takes that, but it's basically, does he want to play for Brad to never draw some giant thing to sink all his mana into, or does he want to play to just kind of take the edge off by having one less Satyr?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just trying to imagine the case for taking the Satyr is, well, Brad's going to draw something to sink his
Well,
mana.
basically, there's higher upside if you take the Satyr, because if Brad doesn't draw a land, he's just got 2 dead cards.
Right,
Like
he
you
had no
took a
white.
card, and yeah, he did not know any white. You take a card, and then you take it, and then the mastery is down. Problem is, there's a lot of games where taking the Satyr doesn't do that much, but taking the mastery does a ton. So
Like that one.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I don't know if sideboarding changes this matchup at all. All right. We are getting ready for game 2. Brad Nelson is 1 game away from making the finals, where he would be playing against Josh Utter-Layton, which means Paul Cheon is 1 Brad Nelson game win away from being eliminated. He's been clinging to that 3rd spot in the playoffs all night. And right now, the only way for Paul to make the playoffs is for Andrew Cuneo to win the week. So
he's down a game right now. So
down a game. Josh Utter-Layton waiting for him in the finals. I don't like Paul's chances at this point.
Paul's clearly not a favorite right now.
Yeah, I mean, I would think of the 3 guys, he's probably the least likely to make the playoffs, even though he's the one who's currently in 3rd.
Yeah, Josh is the most likely because he just has to win his match. Brad has to win this game, then win a match, and Paul has to have Brad lose the match, then Josh lose the match. So if you just look at it in terms of how many games need to be won,
Yep.
Josh needs 2, Brad needs 3, Paul needs 4.
I'll buy that. Andrew on the play with an Elvish Mystic. That's got to be good. Second Mystic, he's got what? Strength from the Fallen and Whip of Erebos in his hand, but no way to spill stuff into the yard. Brad has a turn to carry added. Not a ton going on.
Yeah, though a slow start, I guess I assume favors Brad still. Like, even though Andrew's got some late game engine, Brad's is much stronger.
Yeah, it seems like Andrew's got a late game engine deck, but he's in a matchup where he's outclassed in the late game.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Skype is lagging for a bit.
Brad plays Courser Prefix. Yeah, my Skype's looking just fine. Courser reveals Courser on top of Brad's library. Yeah, Andrew's got Strength, Whip, and Night Howler, all of which want there to be cards in his graveyard. He's got Murderous Cut, which wants to eat the cards in the graveyard. And he's got an empty graveyard.
Yeah, one of the problems with the whip deck, I mean, if it doesn't draw Commune or Satyr Wayfinder, then a lot of its cards compete for space that you might not have access to, which is graveyard space. Whereas Brad just needs mana, and he's got a lot more ways to get mana.
Including the 2 Coursers that are in play. He's got Drumica next turn, right? Although at least this time Andrew actually does have the whip. I mean the cut. Looks like we may have lost Ellis Fish for the short term. We'll do our best to get him back. And I think he's back. Yeah, Brad picking up lands with these 2 coursers, gaining life, building up his board. And now I assume this is just Dragonlord Drumica. Drumica got it all done last game. Coursers chip away. Andrew's draws just has not come together here. You back with us, Luis?
Somehow I can't hear you guys.
Oh, you can't hear us. We can hear you. So at least there's that. All right. Brad keeps playing out his threats. Mastery's made a manifest now. Elvish Mystic has picked up a very small Night Howler. Brad just keeps attacking, sure. Courser manifest. There's no good blocks for Andrew here. I mean, he's just...
I suppose I can do commentary without listening to Randy, but that would be tough.
You're welcome to try.
Yeah. I cannot hear anything here.
See how this goes. Feel free.
It does look like they're playing the game on hyperspeed somehow.
These guys have played quite fast. It's a great point. I think if you play a deck like Green-White Devotion, you have to be good at playing quickly. There are definitely matchups where this deck is kind of crazy. Needs a lot of turns to do its thing. I don't know how this game lasts all that much longer, though. Andrew's deck just hasn't done anything. I mean, again, Den Protector, but no Wayfinders, no Communes. And he's drawn the most graveyard-specific cards in his deck. The one Whip, one of the two Strength from the Fallen, one of the Night Howlers. Brad doesn't have a Nykthos, but he's got pretty much everything else he could want. His life total's going up. Andrew's life total's going down.
No good.
Here's an attack. 2, 4, 6, 9. Andrew now obliged to start blocking. Poor Den Protector. All I can do is trade for a manifest. And Brad's even got Drumika's Command that he can potentially kind of blow him out with here. Content to trade. Saving his Drumika's Commands for actual enchantment targets. Or enchantments worth blowing up anyway. Andrew down to 1. Do not like his chances. Brad. Say it away, Wayfinder. Finally, it's way too late, but we do have Seder Wayfinder. Now there's some stuff in the graveyard. Now what? Anything? Can't activate Whip. Can cast Murderous Cut. Can cast Strength. I don't know that this does enough. Yeah, seems like Brad Nelson is going to be in our finals fighting against Josh Utter-Layton for the spot in the playoffs.
Yeah, I can hear you guys now.
Yeah.
All right.
Just...
All right.
Welcome back, Luis.
I guess we're back. So what is happening here? Oh, Brad's activating a mastery and Andrew's at 1.
Yeah,
Right.
Andrew just had this draw with no graveyard cards. He didn't have a Wayfinder or a Commune until this very last turn, where he was already at 1.
Yeah.
He's sitting on Strength from the Fallen, Whip, Night Howler with just no, and Murderous Cut for that matter, with no graveyard action. And Brad just Mastery with Manifests and random Dorks. He's just attacking with Coursers, and Andrew's basically dying to attacks from Coursers and a Raptor.
Yeah, presumably he's just dead now, right? It looks like
think
Brad
so.
has 5 creatures that can attack.
Yeah, I'm mildly surprised that Andrew hasn't already conceded. There it is. Brad Nelson wins. Sorry, Paul Cheon fans. You will not get to watch Paul battle Tom Ross next round. You will get to watch either Brad Nelson or Josh Utter-Layton battle Tom Ross in the semifinals. We're going to take a quick break. We will be right back. We've got one match left to play now. We have no ties. There will not be a tie for last. Brian Kibler is cleanly 10 points behind Andrew Cuneo. They both picked up one match win for 10 points this week, so no tie for last. And we may have Brad tied with Paul, but the only way that happens is if Josh Utter-Layton has leapfrogged both of them into third place and the spot in the playoffs. So no bonus magic, but a pretty sweet finals. And this is the way it should be, right? The last playoff spot is on the line in the finals of the last week.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
All right. We'll be right back. Stay tuned, guys. Finals coming up right after this.